Hi, I'm Pam Meissner, CFO and COO and CathCap. I spend my days inside founder-led businesses, sitting with CEOs who are smart, driven, and exhausted, and more often than not, staring at year-end numbers that feel heavier than they should. So if you're closing out 2025 and you're thinking, we survived, but I'm not sure we actually improved, this conversation is for you. Because here's the truth, most people won't say out loud. Year-end financials don't tell you how hard you worked. They tell you how your business actually behaved. When a CFO looks at your numbers, we're not asking, did you grow? We're asking something much more uncomfortable. Is this business getting stronger or just busier? Let me walk you through how I'd read your 2025 numbers if we were sitting across the table together. First, I don't start with revenue. I know that's what everyone jumps to. Top line up, great year. Top line flat, panic. But revenue alone doesn't tell me if your business is resilient. It just tells me you sold something. So instead, I look at how predictable the year felt. Think back to 2025 for a second. Did you feel like you were constantly reacting, putting out fires, scrambling for cash, reshuffling priorities mid-quarter, or did the year feel steadier? Because unpredictability always shows up in the numbers, even if revenue looks fine. A CFO can see it in uneven cash flow, in margins that swing wildly month to month, in profits that exist on paper, but not in the bank. Which brings me to the first thing I always ask. Did your business fund itself this year, or did you personally carry it? If you had to float payroll, delay distributions, or inject personal cash just to smooth things out, that's not a good year. That's a warning. Next, I look at profit quality, not just profit amount. This is where founders get tripped up. You might tell me we were profitable in 2025, and I'll say, okay, but how? Because there's a big difference between profit created by repeatable demand, stable pricing, controlled costs, and profit created by heroics, overwork, deferred problems. Here's a question I often ask that gets very quiet rooms. If you took 3 weeks off, would profits continue or collapse? If the answer is collapse, the business didn't generate that profit, you did. And that matters because CFOs don't just look backward. We're always asking, can this performance survive next year? Then I zoom in on decision quality. This is one of my favorite parts of a year-end review, because it's where the story really lives. I look at your biggest decisions in 2025 and ask, did hiring decisions improve margin or pressure it? Did marketing spend compound or just spend? Did growth create leverage or complexity? If your team grew but output didn't, that shows up. If marketing felt busy but ROI stayed fuzzy, that shows up too. Numbers are brutally honest about decision discipline. Strong years aren't defined by perfect decisions. They're defined by fast correction. If something didn't work in Q1, did you fix it by Q2 or carry it quietly all year and hope 2026 is different? Hope is not a financial strategy. After that, I look at constraint patterns. Every business has constraints. The question is whether you're aware of them or tripping over them repeatedly. In 2025, where did things bottleneck? Was it people, capacity, cash timing, decision lag? When I see the same constraint appear quarter after quarter, I know the business isn't learning, it's tolerating. And tolerated constraints always get more expensive over time. Here's the CFO lens most founders miss. If your problems didn't evolve in 2025, neither did your systems. Now let's talk about owner experience. Because yes, that shows up in the numbers too. I look at distributions, compensation, stress baked into timelines. And I ask, Did this business take care of its owner or consume them? If profits went up but your personal clarity went down, that's a trade-off, not a win. Healthy businesses reduce cognitive load over time. They don't increase it. A CFO can tell when a founder is carrying too much because the numbers become fragile. Everything depends on memory, intuition, and late-night decision-making. That's not scalable, and it's definitely not peaceful. So after all that, I step back and ask one final question. What did 2025 actually set you up for? Did it create momentum, optionality, confidence, or did it quietly set traps you'll trip over in Q1? Because the goal of a year-end review isn't applause, it's alignment. The best CFO conversations don't end with "great job." They end with "now we know what matters." If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's this. Your 2025 numbers are not a grade. They're feedback. They're telling you where your business is strong, where it's vulnerable, and where it's been relying on you a little too much. So before you rush into planning 2026, sit with that. What patterns do you want to repeat? What do you want to stop carrying? And what would change if your systems, not your stress, were doing more of the work? That's how a CFO reads your year. And if you're honest with the story your numbers are telling, 2026 doesn't have to be harder to be better.